Hello, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Thursday, August 31st, 2023. In this video, I want to take a look at the seasonal fluctuation alarms that go out. I'm trying not to use trigger words, okay? Wish me luck. I'm trying to avoid strikes. Let's look at a short compilation I've got because there seem to be some interesting developments about that topic. 1 second, I'll go to a share screen, and as always, this share screen is available to you if you click on the Facebook link that'll be in the video description box over on YouTube. 1 second. Okay, make that 2 seconds. All right. I picked a meme that kind of shows the ludicrousness of some of the precautions we've been told to take. And even though this is more about the health emergency that we're supposed to be so concerned with, it has been said that the science is firm. Well, another thing that we're told the science is firm about involves fluctuations in our seasonal environment. Now, in May of this year, a Nobel laureate came out and said that this particular type of science has metastasized into massive shock journalistic pseudoscience. Hooray for you. Okay. Now, I read this with interest because I was waiting for the hammer to fall on this gentleman, as it did with the Nobel Prize winners who discovered the medicine that goes into horse paste. And they vilified that particular remedy for 3 years while they touted ineffective but very expensive and profitable ones for big pharma. So he criticized the emergency narrative, calling it a dangerous corruption of science that threatens the world's economy and the well-being of billions of people. Okay, it's a great article. Okay. Then I also have for you from the Epoch Times. This is in the last couple of days. They have over 1,600 scientists sign, and sometimes I believe this particular site can try to get you to subscribe and pay a fee for information. So I went to the original PDF for you, which you can click on here. Okay, World fill in the blank declaration. There is no fill in the blank emergency, with 1,609 signatures. So instead of our Nobel laureate being the lone voice of sanity in the wilderness, there are over 1,600 of his peers who are saying the same thing. So that's encouraging, because if you look at the mainstream narrative, anybody that claims to have some hesitancy on accepting that dire emergency narrative, they get pounded, absolutely pounded. Now, of course, if you're even just starting the journey of being awake, you already know whatever is attacked by all the mainstream outlets is probably true. Okay, probably shouldn't be, probably the opposite. So since they are controlled narratives and they're owned by corporations that ultimately get you up to BlackRock, Vanguard, things like that. Anytime but that pounding can be really hard to take, very hard to take. So I was glad to see that more than 1,600 scientists, that's far too many to discredit and devalue, are coming forth and saying, well, wait a minute, we are carbon-based beings. You start vilifying carbon dioxide, which our green things need. When are you going to stop it? Because we know the real agenda is to have fewer carbon-based beings on this planet. That's what the real agenda is here. Down to what is it? The goal's 500 million? Well, I want to resist that because life is precious. And I think that our reality has a limitless capacity especially as we make some changes in that reality to provide a beautiful life for natural born humans. That's my philosophy. That's Laura's view. Now let's get into the Tarot 2 part of it. I would like to ask the universe if the narrative about this type of emergency is crumbling, and if more and more people are waking up to the fact that it's a created alarm system. And I hope they are. I hope they are. I know I've been looking at a few videos of activists for that type of thing. And they all seem to be fairly young, the majority of them, or so determinedly unquestioning of what they're told by the mainstream. It kind of answers the question all by itself. And with the young people, so many of them just haven't had that moment where the outrageousness of the assertions gives you that, what we've all had, that wait a minute moment. When we're told something is true and it goes so against what our gut is telling us, we go, wait a minute, there's got to be more to this. There's got to be another side to the story. This can't be right. You have that wait a minute moment, and boom, you're on a path of truth and enlightenment. Now, how far you go down that path or what subjects you choose to take up, your business. Your business. I don't expect everybody to follow every rabbit trail I have. Some of my viewers have, but just understanding that sometimes there's an agenda that deserves that put on the brakes. Let's look at other factors before you buy it moment is great. I mean, I think everybody's capable of that and should be. So our question is the narrative crumbling, and is it going to be an ineffective tool to use to justify less freedom of movement, less open opportunities in the marketplace? I'm thinking of like stoves and cars and things like that. So is the narrative crumbling, and is there other information the universe wants us to know? Let's find out, because I think this is important, because I see the potential for the 2 alarms that the deep state is going to, our dark parts are going to push. Is they're trying for either a health emergency or an emergency about environmental fluctuations. And if we can knock those 2 narratives somewhat off the rails, humanity has a lot better chance of coming through any alarm attempts with a smile on their face. And yeah, tell me more. Hey, I know, because when I was young and hadn't had that wait a minute moment in my teens, I was scared when I heard them talking about how there was going to be another ice age. I mean, I thought, gee, I better find out about this and prepare for it. So I have a heart for people that haven't had those moments to connect dots like we have. And let's see, is the narrative crumbling, and is there other information the universe wants us to know? 1 second, we'll find out together. Okay, let's find out what the universe wants us to know. Is this particular narrative crumbling? And yes, that is a kitty paw you see up in the upper corner of my screen. She is patiently waiting to get her spot back. I love you, Allie. You're so sweet. Okay, our first card is the 2 of Wands, then the Empress, Temperance, 4 of Cups, 8 of Swords, Page of Pentacles. Ooh, the Devil. Okay, I'm going to tell you overall what I'm seeing here as far as insights go. Then we'll look at elements in the cards and where they are on this layout that kind of make me say that. First of all, I'm not happy to say that it looks like they're not going to give up this narrative. It's going to be pushed kind of hard in the near future, but it is crumbling. It is not as effective as they were hoping it would be, but the deep state evil is not very creative. So what they usually tend to do is they just push the same thing harder before they give up on it. And so we are going to get more of a push that the fluctuations that are seasonal and the changes that may be happening to them, the fear that they're man-made and can be prevented by more taxes and more constriction of our rights and lack of sovereignty is going to still be something we have to deal with. But let's look here at the good news that it is crumbling, okay? First of all, with the Two of Wands showing up here, I think it's kind of ironic that wands are a fire sign, and then it's showing the globe here. And we know that there's been a lot of eco-terrorism trying to put fire in the globe. So this was a kind of a dry humor type of indicator by the universe about the situation. So yes, does our globe have to worry about fluctuations? The Empress is giving us a little more information about the situation. No way to take this card negatively. First of all, it's a major arcana, divine feminine energy, and about life and fruitfulness and abundance. So yeah, our world, especially as we get some changes going on here, guys, is abundantly able to heal and to support the life forms that are on it, the native life forms that are on it. Absolutely. Recent past, we have the Temperance, and that's showing the modest success that's being seen. I apologize for the glare, but the Temperance is about the modest success and more than moderate failure of that narrative to be continuing to strike alarm bells in the human population. Okay, the Four of Cups is our present situation. This is a time of reflection, and don't overlook some obvious information that may be around. People are taking time to stop and think, and they're connecting dots, and they're noticing. And kudos to the white hearts out there that are getting the information out there. For example, that eco-terrorism is causing the conflagrations, that overall there are fewer conflagrations in the mainland United States and in Europe than in years past. And just getting that, opposing viewpoint out there. And overall, there's more of a receptiveness from humans as we approach that 100th monkey effect syndrome, where all of a sudden the entire collective consciousness of the human race, except by other races too, because the 100th monkey was based on things that we're seeing with simian colonies. So the narrative is not being bought nearly as well. Kudos to us. Kudos to the white hats for getting, the opposite viewpoint out there. And I'm sure the deep state is not happy with what they thought would be a tool of control with our internet and information systems. And even though they do put constraints on those, we still manage to get some truth out there. And there's nothing, I don't think, that has done more to wake people up than to have these platforms for alternative voices, to even have a small voice, because they chip away at the foundations of falseness that so much of these narratives are built on. Yay for us. Now, the truth is available for people if they just look and see. When we have the Eight of Swords, swords are thoughts and words. They can be written and spoken. So no matter what you're hearing or what you're reading about this topic, okay, the truth, or at least looking at balanced viewpoints, is available to everyone if they're willing to. And I would highly recommend it. Always take those blindfolds off and face up to situations as squarely as you can and as honestly as you can, and don't cast them aside just because it conflicts with your existing worldview. Like I said last night, put it in the maybe pile. Okay, instead of giving into cognitive dissonance or saying this doesn't agree with what I want to believe or what I've been taught, you can say it doesn't align with what I've been taught. But before I reject it, I'm going to just set it aside and mull it over as I'm comfortable and view it. That's going to help too, because look, our biggest insight card here is the Page of Pentacles. And this is one of worthwhile effort. And diligence. So the acts of the white hats to counter that narrative have been definitely done in a worthwhile fashion. That is stronger than this card, even though it's a major arcana. The Devil card's about temptations. Again, we've got some willing constraints. They want us to willingly put ourselves, subjugate ourselves, and let, the powers that used to be dictate what we can have, where we can go, and making decisions about our carbon footprint. Okay, let's get 2 more cards for additional insights and information and call this video a wrap, because we're getting some good news here, and Allie wants her table back. Okay, we have the 2 of Cups here, a card of agreement, and very good balance. Their cups are the same size. We've got the male and female energy here going on in balance, which our world is getting into alignment on. And just a nod here with the 7 of Swords, that the Shenanigans gang is, again, they're going to push their narrative as far as they can. They're not very creative. They haven't got another trick up their sleeve, because, everybody yawned when they made the disclosure about aliens. And we're not buying this narrative too much. That just leaves the medical one, and there's been a lot of resistance, like, no, never again. No. They had their chance to build credibility by having a genuine situation that was being addressed in a humane fashion, and it was just so blatantly obvious that it was a power grab and a profit-making and depopulation agenda that no, people aren't buying it. Good for us. So they'll push it. They will push it. It's not going away, but it is not going to grow in validity or acceptance or alarm. And good for us humans that we've had enough. So let's recap. We were looking at the fact that one of the major alarm narratives in our world today is about fluctuations that are seasonal. And we're told that they're impacted horribly by human existence and practices and what have you. And again, I will remind you, I'm trying to not use the main words for this so that I can have this information get out to you without being restricted. So we asked, is the narrative crumbling? Because several months ago, a Nobel laureate doctor spoke out against it. And instead of being the lone voice in the wilderness, in the last few days, over 1,600 of his peers, fellow scientists, have said there is no emergency. This is false. And more we're seeing people are putting up information that CO2 is good, the environment needs it, trees need it. Yeah, because they take it in and give us oxygen. Why would we starve them? And again, that knowledge that it's really only one step from carbon dioxide concern to carbon, and we are carbon-based life forms. So that's where the real thrust is. That's where the real agenda is to reduce us. Okay, so we were asking about that. Here's what we got. First of all, the situation was ironically indicated by the 2 of Wands. And I say ironically because this fellow is looking at a new path. He's holding the world in his hands, and Wands are fire sign. So with all the eco-terrorism that's gone on the last few months, I found this, like I said, rather amusing for the situation. Now, the reason it's not alarming and amusing is because the other side, the clarifying card for that was a major arcana, the Empress. And she is divine feminine and fruitfulness, and just a reminder that our earth is much more resilient than we're being told it can be. That doesn't mean to take it for granted and to harm it deliberately. Not at all. But have faith in the fact that it was made to be a fruitful plane of existence. And it has, just like we have, it has a natural immunity and system and a healing system that it can employ, especially if we help a little bit. All right. Now, so I'm not saying, be an idiot on resources you used. I'm never going to say that. I'm just wondering about these alarm narratives, and I was hoping it was crumbling, and it looks like it is. Recent past card was the Temperance card. Temperance is a card of moderation and often teamwork. So good job to people that are getting opposing viewpoints out there that are saying, no, wait a minute. I'll stake my credentials on saying this is not an issue, or not the type of issue we're being told it is. The current situation, our stop and think card, the 4 of Cups, which always talks about, well, wait a minute. When you hear something, especially if it's alarming, Stop, look if there's information that is not right in front of your face that maybe they don't want you to look at, so that you can get a balanced view and take your time to make up your mind. Okay, don't let someone else make it up for you. We're doing a good job in that regard. In the near future, though, just a reminder, some people will willingly have blinders on about new information. That's not going to go away. We got to love them with their blinders on, but they're not going to grow in number or in influence. And that is gorgeous to hear. I say that because the Page of Pentacles showed up as our strongest insight card, and the Page of Pentacles usually indicates a worthwhile effort. So people that have been taking the time to say, no, I don't buy this, or it's not quite the way you're presenting it, it's really been effective in bringing out that temperance card that showed up in the recent past. So good job. That's going to continue. And then the less important of our insight cards was the devil, just reminding us that temptations and willing shackling is still going to be what they are going to try to push, mainly because they're not creative, not because they think that they have a narrative that's going to be effective, but this late in the game, they don't have much else to bring out. So guys, if we don't buy the health emergency, then we need to buy this one about our environment, because the alien one was a total flop. So they've only got those 2 bullets in their arsenal. And the more we can laugh at them and go, no, I'm not going to get as upset as you want. No, I'm for responsible living. Absolutely. But, so I'll use a water reducer head on my shower, and I'll make some accommodations to be good to the planet, but the planet is also good to us, and we're not buying the alarm. We're not buying the emergency, not at all. Then our final 2 cards were the 7 of Swords. Just a reminder, they are going to push it. It's not as effective as they wanted to be, but they're going to get away with what they can. And that is less and less as people stop and think. And then a card of balance and agreement showing here. We are going to come closer to being in agreement with those that are starting to question. They're going to join us, and there's going to be some balance here between the 2 narratives, definitely, and some common ground, especially as information is freed up more. And we need to learn to be responsible stewards of our planet, our bodies, our souls, our spirits, and responsible stewardship, not willing hostages. So let's all go for that responsible and informed stewardship that we need to have. And that's going to build trust for the human race from others who share this plane of existence and this universe with us. And it helps to prepare us to take our place in the cosmos as learning and growing and viable and worthwhile fellow members, fellow citizens of this universe. Isn't that exciting to think about? It is for me. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for your time and attention and viewing. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. And I truly do send each and every one of you love and light. I hope you receive it and take it in, and it brightens your life and your day. And until next time, which probably won't be tomorrow, but if something big happens, I'll try to show up, okay? I send you love and light and wish for you everything bright. Bye.